Ke kgathetse. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Bana ba satane. Ha se ke hosha ha se ko hoshwa ho ikepela keng. Ka matekwane, a ke tlhaloganye. Somebody kopa leng peng story nyana se different because this one, I'm sorry. Ha ke dig. Sebaka se se ka kang rona re tla be re ntse fatshe. Re tsaya most riding sa rena. Taba rona re bogetswe. Sivelelwe we ngabantwana baka Satan. Sizobayenza what? Exactly. Control. Hebanna. Sisters ke mo uyaqhamukela emgaqweni. Uzitshele ukuthi yena uzo control. Ubru wami uzitshele ukuthi yena uzo control ayazini. Bantu base occult magic kuparibuweng. Gere tlotleng mo lifeng. Nna ke grand kalon. Ntlogeleng ga ke bodla because go bodla it's just going to be a thing. Wait again nna. Azanka le kopa mmereko. Azanka kopa nna o khutlela morago go corporate South Africa. Azanka kopa nna hore nhirenhle because Grecha pone ke sa batlo khutlela na. Next I want to khutlela so much so that I didn't want to go back that nama life ke khutlisitse septum piercing ya mina isa galenze le teng azanka yenza. Azanka yenza. Ne ke so sure if I want to get rid of it. But wait again, this is gonna stop. Baby sang diding. Nose piercing. This one over here. Inele some other one. And I took it down because of interview. And I kept it off because, you know, trying to give it decent looking for corporate. Let's just have a conversation. Azanka kopa now lo bereka. Le batho ba tauweng, ba subileng matekwane. Ba ntse ba hopa up and down no. Mo godima ga beach ball. Nkare ke di kangaroo. Ba sa bias ke le mesa o tlogela bana ba batho hore ba gole. Utlwelang ne. Filter ya mina isa yang khaza. Bona ke filter. Ga ka para di braille. Are you shocked? Are you surprised? Aka para di braille. Ga ka para ke lipstick nothing. Okay, maybe lipstick ke apere mara not the one that you're looking at for me right now. Ke filter. Ke enjoy. Na go para di filter. Ke di enjoy guys because I'm a creative. It's fun. Homonat mo lifing. Hoba cray. By cray I don't mean go tlanya go sangana. Ma go ba creative. And ever since corporate in Khaza, nkare nna ke golo ka fa gara mala. I've just been chilling around in some strange boulevard on some kitseng ka bophelo ba me nice. Hulukile guys. Linkubile. Les shapile stwetla mo strateng. Hopping up and down no le jwetsa gore lena gale rata le ka tsola. Gale rata le ka tsola. Hulukile. Le rata go tsola is so good in the hood. Ke bona gore go monate go tsola. Because I mean you keep doing it. Utlelang lena ba ratang go tsola. Ga ka le kopa mmereko mo lifeng. Azange nna ka kokota menyako nya lena ka re mphe mmereko. Akere. Jaanong ke ka stress nyana sa go bora. Le batla go foster nna hore ke basically just kind of abandoning the only thing in kirelang sense mo lifeng. Guys, easy. Nna ko pa discussing. Bonang my piercings ne. Look at my trach, that's my tragus, but like look at my industrial, and then this little baby over here, other tragus piercings, mara one is really, there's just nothing but the backstopper thing. So cute. That's what I'm getting at. Bitsa mina itse jeka khadi rasitse ga botlhoko ga kana, di tletse ka jewelry. Ha ke tlo gona nna mo life ngo ntse ke hopa up and down no go cooperating. Azange nna ka kopa go khutlela morago because at the end of the day ne ke tswile mo yona corporate ya teng only because le yona enkapotse jaka bogat enkapotse le yona enkapotse it's a le skipper ya off my body now. I did not choose to leave corporate. I don't know how many times I can say that. Azange nna ka kgetsa go ba like a wall ke lena linkubileng batong linkubile nna mo lifeng is ke le happy ke perekela le monate mo strutting ability sala hore nna all of a random Saturday hore ha ke deserve go ba le mmereko nna tshwantse le lang tsaya ngwana batho a re maskepsane wa morena jesu la makoba leng tebetse mmereko ha tata monna ha ke creator ki punya nko ke kwaya piercing le ditsebe tsa mina isa di rasitse ka di piercings because ke bona rena ha ke gotlhele ko corporate o bo ba le mona mina isa girl o bo tlo ba le mona o rena wait taking your rena go gotlisa ko dry and bland ro go gotlisa morago Karabo go dry and bland go desert Go whirlwind, go thunderstorm. Ro go khutlisa morago go di bosong tse sa earring sense. Ro go khutlisa morago go di chicken tiggin. O tlo go borang. A go jwetsa hore na re Karabo grand shop ke fila nkare mo America wa ha complete. And I'm like, Maraboso, last time I checked, file instruction e ka di bullet pointing. Ke fulfillile 1 to 20 bullet points tsa gago tsotlhe. Na re kenye e shotang exactly sisters. No, Mara sister girl, oi graya problem. Oi graya. Because why search why hunter entse setting? Is ke le ba bona batho ba. Ba go search hunter. Ba search hunter. Phoso e seteng. Ba search hunter phoso e seteng. Nna jaanong jaaka ganeng ke bile ke le all innocent. Hobaneng mo lifeng le batla go foster tse ding dintho hore ke di Hobaneng tse ding dintho le batla go foster hore ke di ke sa di kene. Hobaneng nya ya claim ke tlo clear this thing hore nna ha ke le tshabe mara le tsibile matse kwane le wa rata le shwali ikepela ka ona. We're not doing this. Yo. Let's go and nna busy ke retsa ke tsoloka ka di tswana di sotho. Leona re ke grand mo lifeng ha ke grand ha ke mnande. Bona filter ya mina isa ewa ga botleko jwang ha ke na coffee. Ha ke nwa coffee. Wa itsekeng azanka le kopa msebetsi. As in cheers ne coffee. Everybody knows your name. There was a time when I was flailing matsogo aminaiza mo the sky. I'm too sang daughter. I was like, help me, I'm drowning. And then people just stood back and were like, I was like, why what is with the looking at me? Drown to drown. Maramurana just so abang paddy gills. Ang pa ability jaka fish to breathe in nakafatla sametsi. And now that I am this aquatic marvel walking at you, egonang mo lifing, hohema tlasametsi, ke Ariel under the sea, lena lemona ha ai bathong. Another mo lifing lo when are you gonna cease hostilities against the body of Christ? Like abatho bataweng nyaya tla kopa re tlotleng. Ko mina ne lo bona makeup nyana e fola off. It's all right. Hulukile jaka tshepotshola hulukile because I'm like a creative and that's all that matters at this particular juncture. So lanze ke mina go aqhaza janong jaka halebo ro ke taba hore nna ke motho wa go aqhaza lanze ke mina. Another stop aningi mafosi alena. When are you gonna stop ukukhuluma mangano yazini? Guys, anginqelanga ispan. There was a time when minkhala ngithi ngisizeni. Ngaphuma kini ngoba ngibonile ukuthi grand shop lezi nje lezi zonke. On the periphery left and right. Anifuna ukuthi ngibe grand. Halase bye. Skele mosaro kibe grand. Ke bon. Ke le bankri le shapile straight la. Most rateng but naked. Gele rata le ka tsola aker. Ha ke tata go discover. Ntlogela ke bona ke motho wa creative. Ka o sena mmereko o zama go etsa anything work. O botla o apara makeup ya go nna fake ya filtera. O apara septum piercing is something that you can't rock in corporate South Africa. O tlatsa ditsebe tsa gago di rasitse ka di piercings cause you can. O tlogela di edges tsa gago di se lane. Miriri itswileng seleng it's so fit. O tlogela hairstyle e blomile jaka stotsela mo godima tlhogo o sa bring it down cause wa tswafa. Cause ga ona 9 to 5 that keeps you alive. Utlala. Ke tswile nna go di building tsa lena tsa go bona ne sangene bo guys. Ke tswile. Go bana lenkubile mo lifing like a soccer ball lang rega. It's what you did. Lenkubile guys inis. Lenkubile la Karabo no right in my lifing it's okay. We're not girl. We're go dumpa ka peace. Kiringaya mara hobaning ling dumpa ka peace ga ke so ni ready. Neginality dreams, I'm a poopo. I go tlogela corporate maybe kilo era entrepreneurial pursuit endeavor nyana. Mara ha ke so ni ready. Langjotsa hore Karabo la so save million girl who lo qala business ro kuba rena. Yo. Nankosha before I could get my experience and start a consultancy firm using my skills that I acquired in corporate. I mean that was like a whole thing, ne? It was a thing. I was going to start a firm at some point. I don't think I was going to stay in corporate South Africa. No, actually, correction. I was going to stay in corporate South Africa, but I was going to start my own corporate. I was going to start a business. I was going to start a consulting firm. But I needed to garner for myself decent experience. Maybe get to the age of like 35 after having worked as a program manager for a couple of years, and then start my own management consulting firm. Yeah, but like that didn't work, did it? Lingubile before I could be a new startup giving consultancy services. You took away the ability for me to continue to garner for myself experience that I might ultimately start a management consulting firm, because that was like my whole dream. I wanted a consulting firm. I wanted to start a bit of a McKinsey. I wanted to start a bit of a Deloitte. Yes. Because I'm that girl. Ke tlhalefile. Ke ntswembo. Ke mang o lontsha pa ka morago a re nnyaya o buti wetse ke nna ga ke tlhaloganye koloi ya gago. Ga ke tlhaloganya nga re e paketseng morago wa rona. Disrespect kana e tshwana le balohi. Anyway, I was gonna garner for myself experience in corporate South Africa until I started my own firm. I was gonna gather network opportunities. I was gonna mix with some people. I was gonna create partners. I was gonna meet a colleague that I trust with whom maybe to start the business. I was gonna do that. But then you cut me short. You got me fired. Wetsalang kumurao mole kya boreha. Because everything yang bora. Obuti obatlang. So mami nice. Naka ka asa. Ke bat ka fela wetse kingi. Naka ka mema motho mara batho ki mo ba busy ba tsena ka fa gare ntlo ya mina isa ke sa ba mema. Utlwelang. Problems for days nyaya. Linkubile before I could do anything. So because you made sure hore nna ga ke kry sufficient experience to be a believable consulting firm, because you made sure that I can't make business partners, that I can't talk with some people and spark up an idea to start a consulting firm, wetse ke ngabuta ka tamo botlo reva kolo ya gago ya go bora tloga ha re go tsebe ha na motho o go hirileng ya jaka nna le nna ga ona motho o ng hirileng mara ke treatwa nna nka re se ke le staff member se reportang to somebody, or like I said, wa shwa wa ikepela motho a teng tamatekwana obuti wetse ke rona ro gura mo life after school is after school health central because one interrupta ke na ntwe ke lelang eo ke lela ta bona ka interruptwa and I'm not so sure about who wetsa halang da obuti ke nka wena kopa o tsamaye o etsang ke hanka lobo tsa deep brother ukuthi uplomeleni ke kuiria vehicle e busy ntseng revela mona and I guess bicycle emsateng ke mbona motho wa ngdisturb peace ana motho batla go mfa khotso mo lifeng aka khumuntu ufuna ukunginikeza mina impumulo even though ngiyayideserve akuclear la emgaqweni ukuthi mina ngideserve ipeace kodwa anginikezwa ipeace but it's all good in the hood because mina I belong to the Prince of Peace ningazonyanza nizolimala lo lemala nna ke motho wa Prince of Peace nankulu Jesu Kriste ke morena wa minaiza and Jesu Kriste go tlheng ga se morena wa batho bana ka ofela mo strateng ena ntse batlema go ba bazalwane because if nele le bazalwane you wouldn't be literally all about that business ingani ukungilimaza kabuhlungu kanjena it's cause nishaye straight la emgaqweni litumpila tsules cause hale rata le katsola jaka hale tsotse gakana le naked of course lotella hale naked mo strutting because ke mango sa telling khasa barandi aparo batho ba ipitsang bazalwane kopa re tlotleng halisi Jesu khele hlugumeza like no man's business yazin abantu baka Jesu khale bazalwane. I don't know how many times to wait taking one bora di guy and like it's like somebody else is attending to the loud noisome gongy person. I feel like a postman pet. What did I do to deserve that? On top of it. Or a postman pet to which is a fella horo obloma because like it's just he feels like it's his right to ublome near to double pack him and just hang. Make like a flower. Oh. Hi. Good.
Alright, I'll take it. Okay.
Alright. She said she'll take it.
Okay.
There we go. Postman Pat finally dealt. How was my hair looking at the? But that's the thing, right? Kinto eke thalosang eo mo lifeng. Motho unzale mona akitse boy asa diliga Postman Pat. He's like, "Menkangu talking to Muntu. Ukhona dude. Kodwa akusim. Angi odanga anything. Why? Cause akuna mali. So I don't expect anybody to be dropping off any courier documentation all up in my grill. What did my hair look like? Omora le bone product build up le di brilliance di what Hakenze Kishabana le Postman Pat, but it's okay. Because Postman Pat is about to be on his way. That's the kind of stuff in Defela Engborang. Tabaro people bapela around Nabang Tella. Habakata home Tella, ebe no, I'll take it. Anara ofete saying Postman Pat. Omabona. Or menza hu nzara vakoloi. Maran Defela wa enjoy and Defela Hansang Rasedita Koloya high lady exhaust fumes. No hate to Postman Pat. Bye bye obutuarona. Waiting my life modimo ahopolosa if you're not saved. Utwella. Muri wa minaiza utuleng jana. You see these mini braids. Ntedili here. Diplomile on top of the head. Kakhotwetsa nna guys I maybe 4 months akisho. Ga ke sori khakhe why? Because for who? For man. Another chance na ke lo ipopa ke lo ba mipila for who? What client do I have to have neat hair for? Angisho ngithathela ma client wami. Lengitsayetse my management consulting business and nane ke lo nna McKenzie. Ke lo offer the company the change manager. Khaba transformer over to new systems. That was gonna be me. That was my future. But y'all took it. Lengitsayetse bokamoso lang parang ka di fake khalas. Utlelang rotlotlane. Ha re tlotla tlotli. Ge re qeta go tlotla tlotli, maybe ga re feditse ka conclusion re shapile conclude. Le ka setelle botlhoko gaka. Maybe ga ke itse ra mara le zama mo lifeng jaka ga le sa apara maybe ga re fetsa mona o apara painting yana singers in these streets go shapiwe straight la mo strateng he ke ratang ka tsela tsuli motho teng motsotsi girl ha ma apara nya yantle mara ke filang ka re tlogela dideng mara has by to a point when I can le product build up moruru o tsofetse but I don't care cuz I haven't cared for years. And then la mona la ho bangang le dikangaru le tlo rona le batho lo ikira betere go phala everybody la mo strateng mo ka kwene on the left on the right lo na betere ebe le tlo jewa ke mona ya Lucy e mathong ebe e tlo le bounce ya Lucy lo bloma mo dipilong tsa lena idi ready chichi boya dipelo tsa lena di be le mafito dipelo tsa lena di be jaka rice e tastang nkare ke mmeleke because khazang wa drainer of starch rice enkareng ke motoho wa itse ba rice eo la itse guys la itse rice e la ne e phegilweng o vetsen shevelo lo tsaya rice wa itsenya ka fa hara pizza wa lighta mollo tshela metsi o bo itlogela starch ka ofela se fela next thing ga o ipotsa na re kenye ka porridge keng ka motogo hira galang fana why ke sa gone go distinguish between one rice green and another hobane nkare mona ke dila ka pasty ke pasty ena ga se rice nkare ke jungle oats cause motho teng ha tsebo phega rice guys motho teng ha tsebe golo tsokotsa rice go no rinsa go ntsha starch gore o ska tlo dila ka paste akere o ska tlo dila ka motogo ka lebese a ke tsebe jungle oats mara wena o itse gore o ja rice even though it's giving the consistency of jungle oats kwena mo fitileng mo dipelo tsa lena di tshwana le rice eo e paste ga e right ha ona ntho ka o yetsetsang yona ha e monate ha e telle. It doesn't taste like rice mara o tshwere ke tlala so o tlo e ja ena hape ga o batla go offenda motho o e phegileng dipelo tsa lona di tshwana le rice eo dipelo tsa lena di tshwana le rice eo guys ele ya paste ele e sang tshiwang starch ele e kopaneng nkare ke motogo jungle oats in particular ke rice ke dipelo tsa lona di tshwana le rice eo nothing gets through and motho o tlo jang rice ya teng it's at their own risk danger gafarangozi enter and be eaten leng go rasetsa di phone ha ona ntwe sa batleng go ke revelwa dikoloi ke di Postman Pat ga ke sure nna ke khatetse or maybe wait di pele tsa lona di tshwana le eng rice ele e bileng e betere se ke la dila ka situation ele ya macaroni isn't macaroni spaghetti le ona la wala tlhela fela ma spaghetti a teng nje fela dropping them like they're hot like the hot potato nkare wena umrepa dropping lines like a mic ka fara pizza o bona dula wena pela Netflix o itse gore atla tipega macaroni a gago or ma spaghetti atla tipega plomo yona o lo bukela Netflix while rice ya boil isang rice spaghetti ga o khutla o futla fela go lo fudiwa girl kwena mo fitileng teng mo abuti wena wa fudiwa o that dude I don't know o tla itse vele go fudiwa ko cauldroning le busy ka di spell ntse le lawyer South Africa eyo yotlhe e kopane le re tshwantla ditlho le re tshwantla ditlho tshwantla le re tshwantla le la re tshwatla ditlho against mabota rona di brain matter tsa rona gray matter di all over mabota cause I get la bolai le tletse ka go bolai be di homicidal randos le tletse ka creepy vibes haris bias ke le msale na mam mara anyway la tswela pele cause I get rona le ntho le tshepileng setano o le cause tso gore le tshepe very much in nonsense ya lona so ke mo obuti pela ga pizza ya gagwe OCC stars e re ska discriminate ka gender cause really indiscretions it appears they are broad spectrum o busy motho o ntse a scrolla Netflix a pause mara ga pose indiscretion ya go phega macaroni ga botlhoko ga kana ore ke pasta e se ke pasta yo yotlhe mara e seng macaroni spaghetti le ona macaroni ba le do a dirty mara spaghetti ke yona e tla go bontshang di flames because it then spaghetti say once a second guys sit whole like crank mara wena o busy o blomile ko pela Netflix o qeta go lo dropa like a mic nkare o mrepa o at a roast battle macaroni or spaghetti whatever ka fa gara pizza o bo vele fela o light the heat tshela metsi o buti maybe sprinkle letswanya na bolo bloma ko pela TV o ntse o sefa di channel wena o buti kwena mo bogileng teng mo e bo go tlhafela o tlo fudiwa cause le rata go fudiwa ka fa gara di pizza ka di cauldron tsa lona le tsa di death spells go di kitchening tsa lona self-practicing satanist re tlole etsang mo lifeng macaroni alona ha tshwane spaghetti ha tshwane le meriri ya mina la ntse itsofetse la ntse e blomile mo godima ditlhogo for 4 months yo yotlhe at least you can tell hore ena ke one mini bread ena ke the other mini bread go separate mo lifeng di two o bona di mini bread tse di pedi guys la di bona la di observer marane wena wa fudiwa ntse o fudunza o fudiwa o sena taba ka taba ya gore first and foremost he bana ana re kenye ka go ba bound kenye ka sofa slahlane mo ka fa gara pizza sofa slahlane no makanjan we karoni wami no mangishiye sofa slahlane no makanjan le tumpile mafito mo plating batong pizza ke mo e dansa le macaroni or ke spaghetti jaga ballroom dancer I'm not letting you go girl dijan no mangishiye so fast lahlane akopane nkare ke di conjoined twins mara instead of twins ke di quadruplets or ke di quintuplets ga ke tse mara o tlo bona di spaghetti nyana tse 7 in one bunch. And then the rest of it, like, so basically everything is just a batch, a group, ke teamwork, ka fa gara pizza. Group of 10 macaronis, 10 of spaghettis, di blomi den definitely, no, maganjan. Di abina mo pizza ngintse di boila marane. Nothing in you is trying to find out, or go separate jwang on a situation. Di pelota na di jan. Di tshwana le spaghetti seo, sa go shapa, no, maganjan. We tali wami angeke ngikushie so fast lahlane it's 10 di bunched up it's 20 sometimes when I bone bothata ka di ding because at the end of the day o lo feeda mmele wa gago ha ona mathata la o ntse o natha macaroni nkare ke borotho o grand abuti o se o shapo ha o ntse o natha macaroni nkare ke papa the way I leng bunched up ka teng you cool. Because food is food. Whether or not there's an individual strand of the spaghetti is irrelevant. Di pelota lona di tshwana le macaroni ao. A kopaneng. A fasitseng mafito a blomileng clumped 20 per batch. O botla la di deng mo plating ya motho mong. E je uli wano buti kwena sa tsebeng go phega macaroni. O si o nga sifundisanga ukwenza macaroni kwena o sa itseng go lo rinsa macaroni ko pizzeng kwena o sa iwang di deng akere ga wa rinsa macaroni first and foremost go hara strainera go kitchening secondly azangwa kenya just a little bit nyana ya oily to make sure bo sisters ba ska tlo shapa so fast lahlane ka mara pizza ha bana o sa rati oily then o tlogele pizza entse e bulegile ne akere o nontse le busy o ascertain making sure sister girl le brother boy ga re tlotleng instead of standing up in Netflix, it's just to make sure ntho tsena di separated. They're not blooming with each other. Hadia blow manje fela nje so faslahlan mo plating mo hara sikotlolo always even mo pizzeng cause hana maitse o jela ka va hara pizza you that dude. I was bicycle me even sa go fepa bana ba ga go di nonsense. Spice ke le masa go fepa mosadi wa teng gore ntate wa teng ha let's buy ha le nantaba guys. Why? Because ha pelo ya gago ele mafito jaaka macaroni ao re tla go etsang. Of course macaroni a tlotlo a le jalo, spaghetti sauce wa se le jalo, ditlampo fela rena ba bang re lo accepta fela o botlo re mema for dinner o buti o motho wa di braai o rata jwang go phega mara ga o tsebe go phega o si o motho wa di braai o rata jwang go lo mema batho ko dineng mara rona tshwantse re loja so faslahane cause you think there's nothing wrong le macaroni a kopaneng ga botlhoko ga kana mo pizzeng cause wena ha o etsa macaroni o bloma pela Netflix a ke re la loya ha ke ta mo be le bloma pela Netflix le kopantse so dipelo tsa lena di tshwana le macaroni ao ga di a separate di katla tsa papa anything dipelo tsa lena di jalo or maybe we itse dipelo tsa lena di tshwana leng se ke le wa lo natha apole we natholle o kwenye oje o hlafune oje and then o bo natha o kopana le a ke se bo re ke sponge and I ke tsebe gore why se le jana since apple ena ntse ikwetswe nako kaofela it has not been exposed to the air go baneng go le dark brown go baneng ele soft and go baneng mo lifeng in ga some kind of way mara kana kwa teng half of it mo molomo o kopana le danger ga far ngozi in the center of the apple and you like oh bathong why mara ke sa sega in half pele before you enjoy the outside kana thana ke busy ntse ke kunya ke tshotse gore bathong an apple a day keeps the doctor away ebe ke tlo kopana le tsietsi mahareng a apple dipelo tsa lona di jwala di tshwana le apple eo motho o busy o plomile le wena ona o grand next thing aba kopana le o ke eng ntho e swabileng ha kana mahareng a apple ya ka ke ke go bola keng o botso ga gore go ba le di maggot la ntse se di teng di maggot tsa teng wa ipotsa gore nya anyaya wa no go sa bona gale ka monto re apple e fokotsele e bodile ga botloko ga kana ka mahare dipelo tsa lona di tshwana le apple eo le kopana le sponge mahareng se brown le nyonye le lahle apple ka ofela le feeling ka re le ka tlhatsa e le ikwentseng already ke dipelo tsa lona mo mafito I need the bathroom ke khutlile I'm back. Udalang, guys, ne? Like, listen, I didn't ask for a job. Lingubile. There was a time when I was like, nakupa ke lingenga. He was singing ngenga. Ke blomile ke reng thuseng. Lahana. A ke re dipelo tsa lona ke chichiboya, guys. Ke mafito. Tied up nje fela ka fa gara your chest cavity. Dipelo tsa lona di tshwana le makeup ena jaka ga e wa ga botlhoko ga kana ga ke bo. Bona nkare ke sgilogo or ke na le lazy eye bona dipelo tsa lena di jalo di tshwana le filter ra ga e wa mo sfatlhegong lazy eye di tshwana di go fa lazy eye ke dipelo tsa lena mo go fa motho lazy eye a felletse fela le mopila ngwana batho a ba le lazy eye because of filter ra gone wrong le jwalo guys dipelo tsa lona ke lazy eye enang le ka re kanji on top of that cause let's get stinch anginkela ngomsebenzi guys azange mina ngahohoba ngathi ngiqela ukuthi ningihireni yini eni insist seeing as ni borwe indaba yokuthi mina ngicreative manje sekele creative no le insistile hore okay ho betora a khutlele morao go rona a khutle a tlo bora ya jakarena a tlo bloma go desking le yena ntsa phehla di page ya phehla ntsa araba di telephone ntsa borwa ke client asina job satisfaction yo I was there. Yini. Eni insiste ukuthi Karabo ngizokunikeza ispan girl. Why? Because haliborwe ke mo life. Ke whatever you're doing da mo le setting thing. Utlalang lena ba dipelo tsa macaroni a kopaneng a sofa slahlane. A di spaghetti tsa go ba sofa slahlane utlwelang. Apple ya go nna brown mo centering utlwelang. Rice ya go nna pasting ka re jungle oats utlwelang lona ba dipelo tse njwalo. Tse re sa di khoneng. Akale kopa msebetsi yo anginqelang Let that be a mic drop. Akalekopa. Azangaza mina ngathi ngiyanqenga bro wami yo enhleke awuzeni kusier kunzima ngaphandle lana kunzima sang. Ngisho ngathi kunzima kodwa while saying ukuthi kunzima azange not even once did I ever say ukuthi ngiyandinga ukuthi ningi place. Singeza akekho umuntu la emgaqona ufuna ukunginikeza iopportunity yokuba placed again. Azange lokuba hore lelo functioner as a recruitment agent lankutlo khana motho o ne kopileng le ntshise di tsopele di bonga mo strateng le sna maitseo le shapile straight la le re halerata le gatsula precisely because you think I need you etla kopa re tlotling Harry tlotling all this decorum that I lost I don't belong to the system anymore. I didn't leave the system because I didn't want to be part of it. I wasn't one of those people awesome, I'm not going to be working in the system. You're stuck in the system. These 9-to-5 jobs, please. It's all a big fat web, a conspiracy to make us all mindless drones. I was never that girl. I was never out here chilling at home making an excuse for being lazy. Yeah. Saying I don't want to be part of a system. I was happy to contribute to this mutinous system because it keeps on spitting people out. But then it vomited me. Linkubile, guys. Linkubile. Linkubile. You were like, girl, no, it's all good in the hood. I was like, hakisoni ready. Telling nanga malifing, kupa untroheleng. Unkatoheng, kupa liskang toragadi washing because nagi mutuaho aina very well. And right now, khubale crease nyana because of face ya khong toragadi washing. Kage appreciating. Ntlohenenke I nilena. Oh, lang vimba na lang tsaya. Gadi washing. And then you threw me out the building. I was like, oh. I was so sad. You fired me from a job I needed. You fired me from a job I needed. You got me fired even though I was completely innocent. From a job I needed. I was paying some bills, yo. Yeah. I was planning a future. Yeah, I was taking myself to school and I had plans to start a consultancy business. But not yet. Closer to 40, more than anything. Yeah, I wanted to spend all of my 20s, some of my 30s just acquiring experience in corporate South Africa. Then I would hop over into a management consulting firm because then I would gather for myself clients and network through the corporate landscape, find people that I like that I'm going to then call and poach from the companies where I was working. Yeah, I was going to steal clients that I serviced. That's what I was planning on doing one day. But then I got kicked out before I could garner for myself enough experience. Before I could garner for myself contacts, network. Before I could do any of that. Yeah, before I could do what it would take in order for me to get to where I would need to be in order to start a business that is actually going to go somewhere. Yeah, before I could do anything of that nature. You kicked me to the curb. So if at all I could not garner for myself enough experience to start my own little McKinsey, my own little Deloitte, I had to find something else then. Because in order for me to start my own little McKinsey, I gotta have enough experience to be believable. But I mean, like, if you're gonna chop my career off at just the, 8-year mark of experience gained in a particular role, 7-year mark, 5-year mark, it's not enough time. Sorry. Yeah, I'm flamey. It's not enough time. I didn't have enough time to get enough experience for me to have a firm where I got a whole bunch of change managers, management consultants, project managers, business analysts, and the like reporting into me. I didn't have enough time to create that. I did not have enough time. I didn't have enough time. Never in my life was I ever planning on starting anything creative. That's the thing. I said the other day that I've always been a suit, hey? I've always been a suit. That was me. Hopping up and down like a kangaroo. I've always been a suit. There are people out there in these streets that are like, oh, I wish I was a singer. Atlo spitter some lines, roast battle. Atlo rap. I'm like, you got all that going down. So that atlo a rapper. I was never that girl. Fashion designer. I was never that girl. I was never the kind of person to want to leave corporate for a very creative alternative career. I was going to leave corporate for corporate. I was always going to be a suit. One of the few people on earth that are okay with wearing white every day. I was always going to be a suit. I spoke about that the other day, that at varsity, I wanted to pierce my ears, but I didn't because I knew I was always going to be a suit and I needed to be professional looking. Look at my filter falling off. Yeah. In order for me to stay a suit, to be a suit, and have a business as a suit, I needed to gain experience as a suit. But then I was kicked out from the suit, and people put some bogat with some torn like, you know, people then went on right ahead and put like untidy hair that is apparently inappropriate for corporate. People went and just threw on some skipa selengang on the side, on my body. People just put on basically the stuff of a person that doesn't have to wake up and impress anybody. They put me in that for so many years that I got over being a suit. So many years. I enjoyed, like, right to this day, I have di kwai and feel like the blooming gathering dust. Mara ki like a pertlepetep. Haling believe me. Get a bonsa. You like a pertlepetep. I'm always wearing it lepetep, I mean. Yeah. Di blooming and feel like gathering dust. My pumps, my flats, my kwais. Yeah. My suity outfits, hey? Di jacket, di jans, rabaki, sonso, nekele sister baki, nekele mabaki, kid like a better bakina. Always wearing a coat and a jacket. Yeah, that's what's good. Shirts, dresses, all the way down to, like, you know, my ankles, my knees, for decency and all that jazz. Modesty as a Christian, of course, you know, I would never be immodest, but like I bought my wardrobe was corporate, largely. Damn. Yo, let's talk, okay? Like, do you know that I was such a suit that because I was not active at the time, physically, like, Nikisa Jimmy, I only started working out like now, thanks because of all this sorrow, suffering. Recently in Zekisa Jimmy, because I get a link that we see Zekadi Taran, Listening Tumpanaka indiscretion for what I ne? Halina Maizio waits, Mamelang, Diteki, because I wasn't athletic. There was no need for me to buy them. That's why to this day, that's why when it comes to exercise apparel. When after starting a fitness like side of trying to make money online, yeah, I can diteki. They are one size, 2 sizes too big, cause ke size ya mewak. Kidi hand me down. Next diteki. I didn't buy sneakers because for what? I was never, even in my casual outfits, the kind of chick to rock sneakers. I would always wear pumps, you know, a kitten heel, some cute little strappy shoe. Because that's how I always adorned my body with clothing that is very much like that of a suit. Next diteki. And now I wish I had bought diteki. I wish I was more active then, because then I would have, like, you know, a collection of sneakers, but I didn't have diteki. Because I was a suit. Even on Fridays at work, Bogat day, jean day, I would wear a jean but with heels. Yeah, so topeka etletsekadi kwai. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Maratse dusty lero lewankutwa, because I kiso di apare in years. So I mean, for me to look at my shirts, my dresses, my coats, di baki tami nice my kwais, for me to look at them more topon I didn't say di all dust. Gathering dust, guys, like proper, getting eaten by moths and everything. And then move across the many places that I have stayed in this season because of all the sorrow. It's been painful. It's been painful. For years, like roko that would have been sitting there for years, cause even in my ministry, it's easier and whatever's around and come and talk. I don't go out of my way to dress a particular way anymore. But my wardrobe is full of suits. It's full of corporate. And last time I was there was, or at least with any level of decency, 10 years ago. I cried, I mourned. Trana snot, everything, with drool and alles. I cried. My eyes ale puffy. While gets this suit to yami nice. Di bar, di tweba. Bonang makeup okimoya fofa. Lengzaetse mosebetsi. Kalla. Hure hi. Dikela ditele tsa high sal. Dipelo tsa lona di tshwana le dibredi tsa hanse di. What did I say that already? Dina le lazy eye. Yeah. Ga di reliable. Shifting shadows, just like my filter. That's what's good. Ke dipelo tsa lona mo di fitileng. Di tshwana le Karabo ga mina apere filter mo sfatlhegong. E tlowa. Mamela. Ha ka le kopa mosebetsi. Not recently anyway. You were supposed to love me. You were supposed to appropriately react to somebody o le moratang. You were supposed to say no marantweba yentseng Karabo I ebodile. You were supposed to call me. Hey? You were supposed to say, girl, I heard what happened. What in the world? You were supposed to hug me. You were supposed to buy ice cream, come to my apartment, us eat it together while we pine and mope over the fact that I got fired without cause. You were supposed then to be sorry, really sorry, that I was losing my job. Not my job, but my apartment. You were supposed to, when I was starting to go hungry, buy me groceries, seeing as you're still employed. You were supposed to help me move out of my apartment, seeing as I have to leave, otherwise I'll get evicted. I can't pay rent anymore. You were supposed to then help me pay storage for where my furniture is at until I could perhaps find another job, given that we were all professionals in corporate South Africa. You were supposed to then call in a favor with your aunt, your uncle, and be like, are there any openings for project management jobs in your company? My girl just lost her job. You were supposed to pull strings for me. You were not supposed to watch me suffer. Do you understand? Yeah. You were supposed to call me and say, Karabo, MTN might have fired you, but Vodacom is hiring. And I spoke to my boss. You were supposed to keep pushing my CV to recruitment agents that are your friends and be like, girl, do you know I had a friend recently that reached out to me about 2 years ago that started a recruitment agency ever since we left. You know the thing that I was talking about, that I was eventually going to leave corporate and start my own little firm? She started one. And the firm she started was HR. It was recruitment. Instead, what did she do? Gloated that she is a businesswoman now, an entrepreneur. Instead of take my CV and try and proliferate me. She found out that I am unemployed, was all concerned for 5 seconds, being in recruitment as a recruitment agent, running a recruitment agency. She could have done that which recruitment agents that don't know me would have done. Take my CV, even though I had a 5-year gap in my CV at the time. I've got a 10-year gap now, but then it was like 5 years. She could have taken it and been like, I know Karabo, I know her better. Instead, on WhatsApp, staffing solutions, this, that, staffing solutions. And I'm like, I'm unemployed and I've been saying it. Recruitment agents won't see me because the gap in my CV is unseemly. It's unattractive. Yeah, but you know me. You can talk to a company. Hi, I have a project manager. Do you want to see her? You could just have pushed for it. Just punt it for me, hey? Advocate it for me. I mean, the companies don't have to see me, but you can try and get me seen by them. If they don't want to see me, okay, I tried, girl, but like, but try. She didn't even ask me to send her my CV. She didn't even ask. Fair weather, la kutla. Like, guys, ngikoshiwe. We were all young professionals, littered across these streets of Johannesburg. We're working in sooty professions. I only had one friend that had a creative career that I could never enter into. She was a fashion designer, but everybody else was a suit. Everybody else was a sister kwai kwai. Everybody else was a brother Thai. Everybody else was a rabaki or a mabaki. Everybody else was in corporate South Africa, all over the show, working for KPMG, Liberty Life, Telkom, Mobile. Oh goodness, like, this one is gonna crack you up. I had a family member that became an executive at Vodacom, something like 1.5 years after I lost my job. Vodacom. I mean, you're probably wondering, what is that about? Who cares about Vodacom? I worked for a telecommunications company, the second biggest one in South Africa, for 5 years. When you are a staff member at that height, that kind of career level, executive, and you've got a family member that has got 5 years telco experience, 3.5 years of which are in project management, and you don't ask the operations manager or the finance executive, you don't ask the business executive of your unit if at all they're looking for PMs that have got telco experience. When you don't do, what are you doing? When you don't do that, like I said, you know, so fast lahlane noma kanjani ke pelo ya lona eo ke spaghetti se kopaneng mafito di shoelaces tse tied wrong, that is zigzag instead of the straight lines ke lona mo le fitileng. I had a family member that was an executive. No, that's not middle management, that's senior management, that worked for a rival company from the company that I used to work for, and she did not hook me up. She did not think to call in a favor for me, or maybe she did, she just chose not to. Yeah, I had friends working all across these streets of South Africa. Like I said, Telkom, Vodacom, FNB, Standard Bank, before I was put on the credit bureau. I had friends working all over these streets of Johannesburg in financial services where I have experience, telecommunications where I have experience, ICT essentially where I have experience, training, basically, what do you call this? The industry that would be for training and education. I had experience there too, because I was a facilitator at Nedbank. People working in such fields as these, who could have hooked me up with any plethora of jobs given my CV. Yeah. Just sitting back on some whatever. Not only were these people like all distant, hey, yeah, they also didn't do anything for me. They not only did they not do anything for me, sorry, but they were also distant. And that's what really ate me alive, eh? Like consumed me like a maggot. The thing that really, really made out of me a non-entity when it came to all this menacing activity in the streets of Johannesburg. Was in yokuthi, okay girl, I can understand. I have to shake my head. The thing that really got to me was the fact that, look, I can understand. Lena, I've had people ask me back in the day, Karabo, you work for MTN, can you hook me up, girl? Is there anything that you can find for me there? And it's so burdensome when somebody asks you that, because you're just a program coordinator or you're a project manager, sure. But then this person, when you ask them, what have you done in your experience? You don't know Ruba guy, you don't know where to place them, okay? Because in your team, you know that they're busy hiring project managers, but he's not a project manager, right? In IT, you don't know anybody there that you can talk to. Hey, can you please speak to your boss about this one dude that I know? He's looking for a job inside MTN. It's all very burdensome. So for you to have to get out of your own comfort zone and try to proliferate the CV of someone from outside that's asking to move into your company, but in a department that's different where you don't know people, it's really rough. I've had one of my ex's cousins want to come into MTN. He was an IT dude, and I was a project manager, but I did not have a strong enough relationship with IT execs and a strong enough relationship with the bosses of these guys that I worked with. So I spoke with the guys. I was like, you guys, do you need new coders? Do you need new developers and whatnot? And they were like, we'll talk to our boss. The resources in my projects, I would ask them, but you know the burden that sits on your shoulders when somebody asks you, girl Zina, I want to work for your company, but you the skill set of this person, you don't even know. It can be taxing. It can be challenging. It can be challenging. I don't think I actually have tried. I have successfully gotten somebody an interview, but not even from my company. But I spoke to a cousin of mine where it is that there was an opening in the company where she was working for a woman that was working at MTN that was sick and tired of the job that she was working, and I forwarded her CV to that cousin and she got the interview, but she bummed it. She did not get the job because she just choked in the interview. But I have tried to connect somebody with basically enablement, seeing as I've done that before, you guys. I have indeed achieved such a feat as that with limited success. So it is understandable when you can't help somebody truly get placed. But when you are over and above not being able to place them, but having at least tried, right? At least tried. You spoke to the IT guy in your project to see if he can't put in a good word to his manager about some dude outside that's trying to work for MTN. Yeah. You tried, but it didn't give anything. Anything. And then you go back on some girl gizame, but I'll keep pushing. If something happens, I'll keep pushing. I'll see who I can talk to. Or brother boy. It's one thing to fail to place a person, even though you tried. But it's another to not only refuse to help them, stand back, but also to just distance yourself like you never knew them. To just act like it's not sad that Karabo's not working. Yo, hey, the world hates disciples. The world hates disciples. I'm a Christian. So, this insanity, it gets done against believers. It's weird and it's strange. But herein lies the deal. I did once. There was a time when I was like, help me, please. There was a time when I expected, frankly, like after I got suspended from my job without cause, my phone was eerily dormant. My phone was eerily silent. Upon this, the news spreading across the business that Karabo got suspended. The fact that people I used to call friends while also being colleagues. The fact that out of all of them, the plethora of them, there were only 3 that called. On some girl, I heard what happened, what in the world is going on. 3. And once I got fired, they disappeared altogether. So when I got suspended, 3 called me. And then when I got fired, none called. So even the 3 that called me initially disappeared. And for me, it's like I was at MTN for 5 years. 5. And in that space, I gathered for myself I don't know how many friends, like there were colleagues as well as friends. Some of them, 2 women, when I had just come back from the hospital after surgery, came to see me with flowers. I met the one's daughter that day. They came to where I was staying, my mom's house at the time. I had moved back home and I was still all bandaged up, and this chick came to visit me with her daughter. So I mean, that's family right there, right? That's no longer a colleague, that's family. She and her daughter kept me company the whole day. We laughed, we broke bread and whatnot, and then they went home. 2 of my colleagues during the time when I was recovering at home came to visit me. Yeah, 2 of them came to visit me. And the same women, after I lost everything, it's like, girl, if you could see me after my hospital stay, how in the world? This, you know, like, they just come true colors, y'all. The thing about me going for surgery is that, I mean, I still had a job. I was still okay. I was gonna come back to work. But when you lose a job, that's a class thing. You are no longer now part of the workforce. So, whatever pelo ya chichiboya, limenoto that I've always had, utloy born, girl. Utloy born. Utloy born pelo ya chichiboya Karabo. And I'm like, yo, next time utloy born, girl, mara, we shapile straight la mostrating. Yeah? It's reane, it's otsimo. Kaya ba, ha ba tle ke re penti. At least penti. Re tla ba shebana le dimbambo tsa gago ge. Mara kopande fela o lo covera easy. Tshwana le di breletse tse wang ha ke nwa metsi. Coffee, sure. I got phone. Nobody kept up with, not nobody. There was a guy that kept on trying to contact me through my blog. And I thought he was my friend Yempela, and I would respond and we communicated. But the moment I asked him for msebenzi, I asked him to help me get a job. When I was now unemployed for, it had been at that stage maybe like 4 years. Watula, yo, guys. So 3 women called me after I lost my job, who did not stay with me after I got suspended. They called me, but then after I lost my job, they disappeared. A guy friend stuck around, even going to the point of pursuing me on my blog after my number changed, because at MTN we used to use staff cell phones, and that number got discontinued for me because I was no longer a staff member at MTN. So he couldn't find me on my cell phone or whatever, but he knew my blog and would write me in my blog, and that's where I would respond. We stayed in touch. I gave him my number and he would text me and we would like exchange, and he would be like, we should meet for lunch. And I was like, I'm not yet ready to see anybody, but we'll stay in touch. You're my friend. Thank you for sticking by he was the only one. He was the only one that pretty much kept in touch with me. But the moment I asked him to help me with something relating to employment, yo, there's a ghost town, tumbleweed, Joe. Wagwatula, man, Watola. And I'm like, dude, I asked you to help me. Kamusebezi, Watola. That was the last time I spoke with that guy. That was the last time he ever tried to reach me through my blog. That was the last time he ever tried to direct message me on social media. He just basically backed off because I asked for help. When days are dark, friends are few. No, they're not few. They're scant. Like, I tried. Yini, a mass exodus, a migration strategy, a tactic of sorts to leave. You left me. Nishiamin. And some of y'all who could have helped me get a job, lehane. Recruitment, placement, agent, business owner, entrepreneur, lady, friend. You had a placement agency. You owned a placement agency, and you did not think to ask for my CV. Instead, you gloated that you're a businesswoman now. Still competing. Uzokompita kanjani nomfazi ongenamsebenzi? Uzokompita kanjani ngomuntu ozwe obuhlungu nje na? Somebody that is so heartbroken, how are you competing with them? What is happening? What's going on? Man. So I mean, after like what, 5-6 years of trying to make it back to corporate South Africa with literally men and women encircling me that are part of corporate South Africa. Friends, guys, like I told you, I only had one friend that was a little bit of a creative flower. The rest of them were suits, and I was a suit. Everywhere where they worked, they could have, hey, Karabo girl, give me your CV. Karabo girl, give me your CV. Yo, it's been too long. Yo, 2 years, girl. Shame. Goes to Ankutla, tumbleweed, rolling around in these streets of Johannesburg. I was like, so much betrayal. Not only was I endured through all that hardship, right, of that kind of betrayal, but then I also had to deal with this, listen up, active sabotage to try and block me from making it back in again. Ke lorile dinjabatong, ke lorile, ke na le mpho, ke na le neo. Modimo umphile the gift of sight. I get dreams, I get visions. Ke bona boloi. Ke le bona gantse le busy le nwa takong e sa mo strateng mona. Ke le bona ntse le busy ka methylated spirits monana. Matekwane a le wa tsubang a nang le nyaope le manala le JS fluid le bleach. Ge le qadile go a bena, ha le qadile go a chis, le wa misitse le mpepho le best brand. Ke wa lora. Ke lora misi ya lona. The experiment tsa lena ko di kitchening tsa lona that you have converted into a laboratory. The consultations tsa lena le di sangoma tsa South Africa e kaofela. Ke le bona. I see. I'm a seer. God shows me the filthy works that you are randomly scattered about these streets walking in. Nyan popa zinja. Nyan popa. Ever. Nyan popa. So not only did you stand back, zingulube, and do nothing, not only did you display ugutigdala kanshab that you had it in for me, yeah, not only did you show by just being omissive, by simply just like standing back and saying nothing, doing nothing. At the corporate ladder, and still not thinking to call my CV, to call me to take my CV. Not only did you do that, not only did you just stand back and do jack, but you also participated in extra mutinous work. Like, how can I describe what y'all did, eh? It's like you went to my burial site. Mo ke bulukilweng. Mo se topo sa ka se bolang mo harammo. Ebe le tshela mmu on it hore ke ska resurrect. Lingloile. Over and above standing back and doing nothing, you then cast spells on me. Hore ke ska phapama hape le ka ba le mona hakalo. He bathong le ba bolai ha le bona. If it was not for matla, ankenza Hercules amrona Jesu, ang pilang ona to deal with all this betrayal. That's why this is murder. It's murder. You're complacent, you know. It's culpable homicide because you put a person in a position to kill themselves. It's murder by suicide. If it wasn't for God, and all of y'all were happy, content with the prospect of my suicide, you called it a necessary evil, or something that it would be great if she didn't do it, but if she did, she was a burden. Whoa, hey, whoa. You're worse even than my burp. Not only did you sabotage, not only did you do nothing about me losing my job, but then you insisted on hotela musanta lesamente. Ebele omisa ka blow dryer to expedite process ya go patwa ya go bolokwa ya Karabo. You ascertained. Not only did you do nothing, but you also put cement on the grave burial site where I was buried. Moleng pulikileng teng. Ni khutletse morago bosiu dintsha. Ni khutletse morago. La tshela cement. La tshela soil, sand, anything, matlapa, anything e imelang like beda. Hore just in case modimo ankire Lazarus nyana ke phele. Hore ko suffocate ke ska ba le moya. Hore ko tlhokafala. You know, there was something called back in the day before doctors were able to successfully call a person not tlhokafetseng. There were people who were confirmed dead, declared dead, who on days of their funerals or in the mortuary would suddenly wake up. And so when people realize, guys, sometimes we are declaring, confirming dead, living people. Akukho safe lana. Abantu basaphila bazophapama. What if baphapama in their graves? After we put them in the ground, what if they wake up there, next thing they like Carly in Days of Our Lives? Remember how she got buried alive by Vivian? And then she put like some ventilating breathing machine in there to give her just enough oxygen to know that she's been buried alive, and to then, of course, after that, asphyxiate, pass away. Buried her like Carly. Of course, Bo found her. Yeah. Remember, these are the days of our lives. Anyway. Yeah. To make sure that people don't end up like Carly, buried alive and waking up inside a casket. It's already deep in the ground. They then came up with a whole strategy. They put a bell inside caskets that, or some kind of a string or a bell right inside caskets, that if a dead body just wakes up, or a person doesn't, basically is not dead, all right, they can then just ring this bell or pull or yank this lever, and then it would go clicky 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 in the ear of what would be a person that would have a shift to work that night, right, to ensure that the dead that have been buried are dead, or if somebody is alive. So basically caskets, coffins were made with this device in them, just in case people aren't really dead, that they might be dug up in the caskets where they were laying. And the man or woman that would be given that job, it was more than likely a man, would then be called a person who is working the graveyard shift. That is where that saying comes from. A graveyard shift is a person working at night to listen in to graves of newly buried people just in case they wake up, because medical technology had not yet advanced. Yeah. Next thing you go and dig out a body, and you discover that, oh my goodness, we wrongfully buried a person over here that was not actually truly dead. Ain't nobody worked the graveyard shift around me. And the sad thing is, people made like Vivian and buried me. They did. They made like Vivian and they buried me, knowing I'm alive, and insisted that no one listen in for my and just like Carly, I screamed, pulled the lever. I'm alive. I've been buried alive. I'm alive. I've been buried alive. Somebody dig me out. And they told the dude who works the graveyard shift to go home for tonight. It's unlikely that anybody's still alive. And the anticipation or hope is that I will asphyxiate to death. I will just suffocate. I will just die. I didn't have to, but I'm dead now, aren't I? Yeah. I had people put cement, bricks, boulders, whatever, on top of a casket that has been buried deep in the ground. The casket of a woman who was buried alive by monsters. And then these monsters made sure that nobody listens for my These people not only kept quiet and said nothing about my sorrow, but they also made sure that I don't come up again. Only for me to realize, only for me to discover that, the very same people that don't want me to come up from the graveyard shift, not from the graveyard shift, from the casket, and that don't want anybody to work the graveyard shift, they actually cost my career. That's why they're doing nothing. You cost my career. Like, you're the reason why I lost everything. I mean, the sabotage that happened with the weird little people that falsely accused a woman, that was just a byproduct of all the other witchcraft. Like that random, nasty little satanic Indian chick that caused the end of my life was just a byproduct. In and of herself, she was a witch, but frankly, she wasn't the biggest mutineer against my life. The mutineers, the most marvelous mutineers against my life, were my friends. It was my family members. Yeah. Okay. Some colleagues, but it was basically people that were close to me. Yeah. Those were the ones that already cast spells on me to lose my clout, to lose my career, to lose the prospect of getting married. The very people that basically outed themselves. Butt naked, walking around, obviously mutineers against an innocent woman's life. Mara, safety in numbers, that's what you say, right? So they protect each other. Yeah. But protectan, they got each other's backs at my incredible expense. Like, it's so sad, so sad. They protect each other at my expense. They are in consensus with each other that if I pass away, it's unfortunate. We did not quite plan for her to die. Marasa hlaza jwanong. Why ke le hlaza? Because I can galora. That's the thing. Galora. When I was still employed, why? Because I was brushing off the dorotsaka then, because right. Mara after everything, every dream I had before and all the dreams that kept on coming afterwards. Ke bona best friend I shapile straight se se had no ko mostrating. Ke ha ke bona former ex-boyfriend. Ke ha ke bona family member. Ke ha ke batong. Ke re batong le ka loyal le bangata gakana anare. Is there anyone in South Africa o sa loying? Is there anyone? O teng nje motho o sa tsubing matekwane nje fela just for breakfast. O sa shwing a ikepele ka nyaupe. E misitseng le manana le jazz fluid bateng. Is there anyone? You know, the Bible says about the Lord's return. Will the Lord find faith on the earth, Magabuy? Ukhona umuntu that believes in Jesu kaneti. O teng na. I need to go pee.